Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Nextiva. Gone are the days of jumping from app to app, killing precious time that you could be using to get real business done. Alternatively, with Nextiva One, you can communicate and collaborate with your customers and teams from one single place. Threaded conversations that let you see an entire call and messaging history regardless of communication channels. Seeing the whole conversation in one place actually gives you the whole story of the customer and allows you to provide premium personalised services while connecting with your team. Get your Nextiva One customer and team conversation system set up and running today by simply visiting nextiva.com/techtalkdaily. Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, and I have another great guest lined up for you today. His name is Arjun Rai, and he's a serial entrepreneur and founder of the successfully crowdsource-funded HelloWoofy.com. His passion for technology and helping entrepreneurs and small businesses compete with those unlimited marketing budgets of their corporate competitors through digital marketing and equity fundraising just make him a perfect fit for the show. So if you're struggling with things like keeping up with post creation, scheduling the posts, integrations, etc., you're in for a treat today. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way stateside, where Arjun is going to talk about how technology can simplify all of this and much more. Welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Arjun, like Argentina without the Tina. I am the founder and CEO of Hello Woofy. We like to say Hello Woofy is a smart marketing platform for small businesses, the underdogs. And we refer to the underdogs like solopreneurs, coaches, real estate agents, podcasters like yourself. We have over 11,000 on our platform, and we just help them create content, schedule it, and post it literally everywhere in 5 different marketing channels.
And one of the questions I always like to begin with is find out the origin story of my guest. So if I was to take you back in time, can you remember where your passion for tech came from, or what that moment was that put you on the path you're on today? Was it a moment of frustration with other solutions, or was it something else?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've always been an entrepreneur and an inventor. And so I've always been building something or the other, and whether it's physical or software based, or just taking a notepad and drawing something out, a new idea. But having built several small businesses and taken a lot of entrepreneurial endeavors, we knew that a lot of small businesses, they needed help. They needed assistance in marketing and sales and scaling and legal, accounting, all that stuff, right? You don't really go to school for these things, except you learn a lot about history, learn a lot about math and science, and you don't really learn about how do you fend for yourself when it comes to the business world. And so after having done several of those, I realized that marketing is by far the most important. If no one knows that you exist, no one knows how awesome you are and how valuable your solution is, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. And so we built Hello Woofy as basically a solution to help small businesses like myself build a community in every facet of the internet. And most of our competitors, they focus on social media automation, they focus on social media posting and scheduling, which is amazing. But one of our competitors is about 10 years old, and some of the other ones are like 5 years old. But that's all they do is they've all built the same gas combustion engine cars. No one has really taken the leap and tried to build a Tesla. And that's where we're coming in and we're saying, hey, social media is great, but with 5% engagement rate on a typical post, you have to diversify. Most financial advisors will tell you to diversify your portfolio, right? You don't eat pasta every single day. You diversify. And so we said, what about newsletter automation? No one's doing it. What about blog automation? No one's doing it. Smart speakers, Alexa devices? No one's doing it. What about Google Web Stories? Crickets. No one even knows that you can schedule content into search engines. Yeah, if you search for like a company called Remodelista as an example, I love interior design. If you scroll down on the first page, there's a whole section called visual stories. And those are stories that the company, the publisher, has scheduled on their website, and it populates in a completely separate section in search results. By the end of the year, we'll do community automation too, like Discord and Slack. text messaging, and we're going to go old school. My generation is one of the biggest buyers of vinyl records now. Well, guess what? Direct mail is also coming back, and it's coming back strong for real estate. And so 8 channels, full automation, full scheduling, full posting. It's going to be very powerful. And that's our mission, is to build the world's biggest company helping the smallest.
And it's so refreshing to hear that. I've played with a lot of those rival solutions you talk about. And as you said, they're all the same. A lot of them are very expensive. And all you can do is post a link and a few words and upload to Twitter, Facebook, or wherever. And I think it's turning social media into somewhat of a monologue rather than a dialogue in many situations. And like you say, every day should be completely different on how you communicate with your audience. And how easy is it for people to get up and running, would you say? Because that's the other big learning curve for people, isn't it? Trying to get their head around it.
Yeah, quite literally. It's relatively easy, but obviously I'm being biased because we built a platform. We use their platform every single day. In fact, just before this interview, 5 minutes ago, we posted everywhere, literally everywhere, using Hello Woofy, and it was just one click. It's relatively easy compared to our competition, just because we're very mobile first, we're very visual first. And initially, we took the approach of being very skeuomorphic, flat design in terms of the user interface. What we're now doing is something called neumorphic. If anyone of your listeners are into design and the future of mobile applications and technology, take a look at neumorphic design, because it's really interesting to see how the evolution of design has taken place on the internet. And so we're making it even more visual, even more easier to use from a UI UX perspective. And further on, but beyond that, we've also built a platform in augmented reality. So none of our customers have yet tested the augmented reality platform. We've only been testing it internally. But now imagine doing everything that you could on the desktop in terms of creating, scheduling, and posting, but you could do it by walking around your office, or you can do it walking around your home with a client that's 5,000 miles away, because they can do the same thing and see a presentation of an art gallery of marketing content. So suddenly your walls can become an art gallery of content that you've put together with your team and you want to show off to your clients. And then you have another timeline on the right that's floating through the kitchen. And your client can be like, I like this, I like this, I like this. Drag it to the Instagram timeline or the Facebook timeline, and let's schedule it for the next few days. And the client can do it if you give them permission, or you can do it in front of them. And they will literally see a post fly through midair to the kitchen table and schedule itself on the timeline. And that's it. It's scheduled it automatically for you. And then you can walk through the timeline like you were doing a presentation, but it's in 3D. So we have that. We built that. It's on my phone, and I use it almost every day in terms of getting the bugs out, getting it more polished and when we're ready to ship it, we'll ship it to our customers.
Wow, that's incredibly cool. Feels like such a refreshing approach in just about every element there. But the question I've got to ask is where did the name come from? There's got to be a story there, right?
Yeah, so I love dogs, and my dog is a Maltese puppy. He's 6 years old. He just turned 6 a few days ago, but still very much a puppy. And we do truly believe that small businesses are the underdogs. They're competing with very limited resources. They're competing with very limited knowledge, because again, to my earlier point, this is not a degree. This is not something that's a basic education in schools to learn how to build a business, unfortunately. And that's going to change in the next few years if I have my way with building a school down the road. And so that's where the name comes from. And my goal is down the road, when we have our physical office, physical headquarters, to essentially have puppies and dogs running around the lobby. And when you come in to interview, you come in as an investor to meet me or whatever it may be that brings you to our headquarters, you could potentially adopt a dog while waiting in the waiting room because you'll just see dogs. And so that's I really love dogs.
Oh, absolutely love that. And one of the reasons I invited you on the podcast today was to find out more about your insights on all those things that you're seeing in the industry. And I'm going to start with a controversial one, and that is, how important are emojis for successful marketing SMBs? And it's something that we're all seeing more and more. In fact, it's really taking off on LinkedIn, for example. You wouldn't have thought that a few years ago, but now it's widely regarded that if you're going to have a successful, engaging post, you want to, instead of bullet points, have emojis on there. But what are you seeing?
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I have an emoji here in my name also on the call, is because according to Adobe, and actually they've done 2 research reports now, one in 2019 and one in 2021. It's called the Emoji Trend Report. And in both research, overall, they've said that engagement goes up, positive sentiment goes up, purchase intent goes up, but not just like 1 or 2% or like single digit percents. We're talking 50, 60, 70, 80%. And we said, wow, that's something to be taken a look at. And so, but then we realized there were over 3,000 emojis. It's humanly impossible to figure out and remember which ones to use. So we actually filed a patent around an autocomplete technology that as you start typing, it'll start working with you to complete the sentence and suggest emojis below based on the sentences or the phrases you're typing, plus suggest hashtags based on all of that as well at the same time. So we not only took that research and we said, let's build an engine, which we now be able to a full patent on, but to recommend the emojis, but also hashtags, but also words. And eventually it'll do images as well. Right now it does images based on keywords. It'll do images based on the entire sentence and the entire context of the of the post itself. There's a lot of technology that we can nerd out about. But at the end of the day, you spend $5-10 with us a month. You can pay for the whole year and save even more. That capability just doesn't exist anywhere else, and it only exists at Hello Woofy.
Fantastic. Another question I want to ask is around smart speakers. I mean, how can small businesses compete with the big guys when broadcasting on there? And I think for many people listening, they'll think that only the big guys can use that medium effectively. But again, that's not true, is it?
No, it's not true. For a lack of a better term, we're kind of like the Robin Hood of marketing, right? We want to demystify and democratize the power of marketing, power of community building. So with smart speakers, first off, I have 11 in my 1,200 square foot apartment in New York. And for viewers who don't know what 1,200 could be like, as you're from another part of the world, 1,200 is very small. 1,200 square feet is very small. And so we are totally the first adopters, the innovators when it comes to technology. And I was like, but how many of them are there? And there turns out there are hundreds of millions, nearly 500 million Alexa, Google Homes, Apple Pods, all of these smart speakers around the world. We focus on Amazon Alexa. And there's so many, but very, very, very few creators are taking advantage of the ability to broadcast to those speakers in the homes of their customers, in the homes of their clients and followers and things like that. Obviously, you have to get their opt-in. So our system is entirely opt-in based for the creator. The creator has to ask and the customer has to opt in. And once you build that relationship, then you have the ability to broadcast, notify, and also get call to action. So for example, and you can take a look at our hellowoofy.com website for a demo for the Alexa smart speaker scheduler. The idea is very simple. If you have a Fire TV or an Echo Show, in which case you have a visual medium attached to the speaker, not the Echo Show, not the speakers are just speakers. You can broadcast audio to them or video will convert to audio, but let's focus on the ones with a screen built in or outputs to your TV as a screen. Those ones will play your videos or your audio clips, and then you can also have a link attached to it. So let's say this episode airs, but you want to just promote a 2-minute synopsis of this video, this podcast, let's say in the next few weeks. You can schedule a 2-minute video. And then you could be like, hey, if you want to learn more from Arjun, the founder of Hello Woofy, on how this works that we talked about, the Alexa smart speaker, click on the link to the left, use your remote, and go to my website and your podcast website, and then you can watch the whole episode there. There's an exact actual demo of this from another podcast that we were on, and all I did was click on her link after she did the 2-minute or 1-minute synopsis of the episode. I went to her website and I watched the whole episode on my Fire TV. Now, we're building attribution, we're building analytics, when you should be broadcasting versus when you should be going live on these speakers, when you should be sending notifications. Because the thing about notifications is that unlike conventional TVs that are basically one way, you broadcast only, and the customer never really knows when to tune in because there's no relationship being built there. Smart speakers, you can actually have a yellow ring appear, which means that either the creator or the government, the weather report has come out, or Amazon has sent you a notification, or as a creator, as the owner of the app, you can notify people as well, saying, hey, this is Neil. We're going live tonight with Arjun, founder of Hello Woofy. He's going to be talking about how to do DTC marketing. You don't want to miss it. So that's the power that we're building.
And do you have to pay Amazon to broadcast on there? How does that work?
No, they've been really good with creating a developer-centric ecosystem. So it's very similar to the Apple App Store. You can build skills, you can build apps. They really want more developers to take advantage of this. And Most small businesses, again, to my earlier point, don't go to school for coding. They don't go to school for building a business. I think that's going to change in the next few years. But at the moment, a lot of people in the last 30 to 40 years don't have the ability to build things for themselves, and they rely on tech companies. Now, unfortunately, a lot of my competitors, and I know the founders of all of them, of our competitors, they haven't really moved the needle. They don't really feel the need to move the needle, right? So you talk to Elon Musk when he was trying to build a rocket company or a car company or a solar company. There, he was competing with the United States and the space industry. He was competing with the Russian government in the space industry. And the car side, he was competing with Ford, 100 years old, Chevy and GM, several very old companies as well. But he said, no, we're going to come in and innovate. And that's what we're trying to do with Hello Woofy and marketing and community building.
Wow, incredibly cool. And a question I've got to ask as well is, what are some of the ways that small businesses can keep data-driven technology affordable? Yeah. Because we're all going through a time at the moment where every business is almost forced with doing more for less. Yeah. So is there any work around there?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's all about economies of scale. So I live in New York, and I love to give this example of economies of scale. There are a ton of small grocery stores in New York City, but very much double the price of Whole Foods. Now, people say that Whole Foods is very expensive, so they want to go to Trader Joe's and they want to go to other grocery stores. But because Amazon's backing and because Whole Foods has a huge network to negotiate prices with, it's all about economies of scale. And so I end up shopping at Whole Foods all the time, and it's a lot cheaper than going to other grocery stores because of that. Same thing with data. The more we get small businesses start taking advantage of data, the more data we get, the more data we can analyze, the more machine learning algorithms we can build and artificial intelligence based off of that. We own 2 patents today. We have a third one filed around smart speakers. The price point will get lower and lower and lower. So if small businesses want to help each other and they want to help themselves, come to hellowoofy.com and give us the suggestions, right? Give us what you need, what you want, how we can improve it. Because the more we get, we have about 11,000 users so far, about 7,000 paying. The more data we get, the cheaper it'll become, and the more democratized the access to that data and the learnings will be available. If only 2 people use it, it's not going to move anyone's business forward. But when we get thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people doing it, we will be the leader, and we'll be able to, almost like a collective consciousness, level up everyone to enlightenment, if you will, of marketing.
And you seem so far ahead of the curve on this. So again, I'm curious, what is it that keeps you up at night? And how do you keep your curiosity and open-mindedness alive towards new solutions? What's the secret there?
Yeah, well, for one thing, if the room is anything less than 63 degrees Fahrenheit, that will keep me up. I keep my bed at 50 degrees, and most people balk at that. I'm like, well, that's the setting I like. So that's one thing. But the second thing is building the business as fast as possible with stability in mind. We're raising capital now. We're to help continue our success, scale our success. And so we're about to launch a WeFunder equity crowdfunding campaign. We raised about 1.2 million from the public, from our customer base, complete strangers. And so they actually own more of the company than any other institutional investor, which is pretty powerful. If you're building a company for the people, with the people, that's a huge story to be able to say, because most of our capital has come in from the small business that we've set out to build the tool for. So that's something that's always keeping me up at night, is that the campaign's about to launch pretty soon. And so anyone can invest as low as $100 into the campaign and own a piece of the company that they're proud to support. Besides that, I'm taking care of my team, taking care of my investors, taking care of our customers. Those are very, very important. Of course, my family and my dog are very important as well. But I think if anyone's looking for solutions to what keeps them up at night, you have to delegate. At this point, I've delegated quite a bit off my plate, but then I always find new things that are leveling up, essentially, examples of leveling up. And then I have to delegate those and then level up again. So that's kind of the way I've learned from my mentors on how to scale. You've got to find people to delegate to.
And another big question, a bit of a tricky one this way, is how do you avoid scope creeping when building an MVP?
Yeah.
Is there a way, or is it a bit of a myth?
So I'm an inventor at heart, and I love building and testing and building and testing. And so you'll see on my right, or I guess your right, my left, you'll see there's an app called Self-Tac, which is selfies for contact.
Yeah.
The idea behind that is whenever I would go to events, I would take selfies, put the selfie into the notes section of my app, write the name, email, where we met, and then maybe follow up with them, or maybe sometimes forget. But then if you made some changes, it bumps it up to the top because it's chronological based on last time it was changed, the note itself. It would completely mess up my flow, because then I was like, when did I meet this person in this range of dates? But then you have, it's a complete mess. So we built an app to solve that problem, which is you take a selfie, you ask the person's name, email, phone number, and all of that information. It then automatically will generate a message in text and email format, attach the selfie in both formats, and your contact card in both formats, and then automatically send them both to the person, and they can schedule a call with you within like 5 seconds of meeting you. And then on top of that, you have a panel of selfies that you can scroll through left and right, and below them you can see on Google Maps where you met the person. So if you go to a conference and you have like 50 people that you met, you'll see pins lumped together, and you can tap on those pins and see who you met and call them, text them, email them immediately. We built it for ourselves, and now we have just under 100 users within a few days of launching it. And so to answer your question, scope creeping, it's fine so long as it moves a business forward. In this case, that moves our business forward. We have another app that's coming out for paid ads management. So you can manage the comments of your paid advertisement, because most people are really bad at that. Yeah. They have a lot of questions that come in on their paid ads and no one responds to them. And we, on the other hand, have made probably thousands of videos personally responding to the comments of those potential customers. And one guy came in, he was like, who's this kid that is responding to every single comment personally, attaching a link, attaching a piece of text, which is usually like, hey, Neil, thanks so much for commenting, schedule a demo below, click on the link below. But I'm saying that in video. And then you have to wait like 5 seconds to upload it. And then you can do the next comment. You can do multiple comments and respond to them at the same time. Anyway, long story short, we are not going to scope creep that too much into a separate product. We're just going to bake it into the main Hello Woofy platform for paid ads management. And again, that moves our business forward, and that moves your business forward as a small business owner. We have a couple other examples. So whenever it comes to coming with a new idea and building it, we always think about whose business is it moving forward, or is it just cool? Now, the augmented reality platform that we built several months ago, and we're still testing it, and the Alexa scheduler too, we built it for two reasons. One is because people are now used to hybrid work, but they can reach their customers easily at home. So some of them need to have them come in, or some of them need new ways to engage with them because social media is only giving you 5% engagement. Smart speakers, almost every home. That's great. The augmented reality, most of our customers are work from home. They tend to be women entrepreneurs. They tend to be solopreneurs that are coaches in real estate. They're working from home again. How can they seem bigger to their clients than just doing a presentation on PowerPoint and saying, hey, this is what we have ready to go. Do you want to schedule this? Do you like this or not? And this makes them seem 100 times bigger when they can actually visually show you what they worked on and then drag it and schedule it automatically. So that's kind of how we think. And then we have a very specific scope, and we build it, test it, get feedback, and then we go from there.
Well, I mean, we started the podcast today talking about your origin story and explored your incredibly cool journey and your career that you've been on. Yep. But as we come full circle and look back, what is the most challenging situation that you've ever faced as an entrepreneur? And is there any particular advice that you would offer to a startup founder at the very beginning or midway through their journey? Is there anything that you would pass down?
Yeah, someone once said, what if it turns out to be better than you expected, right? Yeah. And if you're going through something that is not positive or positive, just note that this too shall pass, right? Someone once very famously said, this too shall pass, and always know that there's always going to be the following day. One example I would give is back in August of 2019, we had fired our CTO, we had fired our co-founder, we had less than 8,000 in the bank. And I put in about 120,000 in credit cards, maybe 50,000 in savings over about 9 months to turn Hello Woofy around. We were auditioning for a TV show. We were rejected. We were told that we were too early, come back, go away. And then I got a phone call, a couple of text messages from my dad. And he was like, hey, your mom's been taken to the hospital. And it's really weird because I'm right at my parents' house right now visiting and going back to New York tonight. But he texted me from here years ago and he said, hey, your mom's been taken to the hospital. You need to come over now from New York. Came over. She ended up passing away a few days later. But just before that happened, I got an email from the TV show saying, hey, We want you. How soon can you be in California on set to film it? And we won the show. A billionaire on the show invested multiple times. His name is Tim Draper. And this year we were on track to doing about $500,000 to $1 million in revenue. Next year we'll probably do around $2 to $3 million in revenue. And the point is, keep going. What if it turns out to be better than you expected? And this shall pass. This too shall pass. So just keep going.
Absolutely love that. And another question I'm going to ask you now is, some of the biggest names in business, VC funding and tech have either been guests or listened to this podcast. So I'm going to ask you now, is that a person that you'd love to have a private breakfast or lunch with, and why? And I want to try and throw something out into the universe and see if we can help you and make that happen. Let's manifest it together.
That is so sweet of you. I'm actually literally going to San Francisco for 1.5 days and coming back. And so let's see if it happens. It would be Mark Andreessen. I've been following him and just Andreessen Horowitz over the last few years since his exit back in the 90s. And he's one of those nerds that understands the future, very much a sci-fi enthusiast, very much a futurist at heart, just like me, and an inventor. And he does take those moonshots, those $1 billion moonshots, Clubhouse as an example, but I would love to meet him. And in fact, I would probably cook breakfast because I love cooking breakfast or just meals in general, and do that with him in Silicon Valley.
Wow, let's throw that out into the ether and see what we can make happen there. But before I let you go, for everyone listening that wants to just find out more information about everything we've talked about, because you do offer something quite unique here, and I think people will be wanting to find at least a little bit more about how easy it is to use, how they can get up and running, etc. So what's the best starting point for everything? Yeah,
just go to hellowoofy.com, HELLOWOOFY.com. And just email me. I'm just Arjun, ARJUN at hellowoofy.com, or you can reach us over support@hellowoofy.com as well. And A, tell us your story, how you built your business, why you're building your business, and B, what is the solution you need that our competition isn't providing. If they're providing a scheduling platform, then great. If they're more affordable, great. If they're more capable, great. But I know for a fact that they're none of those things. And so tell us what else we can do for you, right? What are the features that you're looking for? What can move your business forward? And those things will go directly to our roadmap. And join our Facebook group called Content Masters by Hello Woofy. It's an open Facebook group for small businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. You don't have to be a customer to join it, but it's a really good dialogue to talk about what is going on in small businesses all over the world. We have 11,000 users all over the world, and not just in the United States. And we get feature requests, we get feature improvements as suggestions. People talk about the issues that they're running into. We always take care of them. And of course, I'm going to respond in video format to all of those comments as well. So you get a personal touch there. And we're just looking forward to co-creating an amazing platform for small business underdogs from all over the world.
Well, many of those other platforms, the usual suspects that we all know, I've tried many of them, and I must admit, they all feel very samey and leave you feeling that you want something more. So I'll make a promise to you, I'm going to be checking it out, and I'll report to everyone listening. So I'll be reporting back on that. But more than anything, just thank you for sharing your story and bringing it all to life today. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that. And wish you the very best, Neil, and everyone in your community. Keep going, and there's always another day.
Wow, what a great guy. I'm certainly going to check this out. I wasn't just saying it in the interview there. I've played around with so many different scheduling tools, but I think in this digital age, we need more than just a scheduling tool. We want to simplify and automate all those time-consuming tasks to get more content out there and on multiple platforms. So I'll be checking that out, and I will report back to you all. But over to you. How have you simplified the processes that we talked about today? What solutions have you tried? What works? What doesn't work? I'd love to hear from you, because as I said, I'm in the market for trying all these different solutions out to find something that can give me a little time back, because life's too short to be sat around and recreating and repurposing content to fit multiple platforms. So please send over your experiences, insights, questions, pictures to come on the show, whatever it might be, by simply emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. My website is techblogwriter.co.uk, and any social platform you can think of, look for @Neil C. Hughes. I'm the easiest guy in the world to find. But that's it for today. So a big thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.